Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, is the bottom near? And are we going to see a reversal sometime today? Let's discuss. Trump says, hey, maybe all this tariff scariness, right? Maybe it could be avoided. That the US and UK can reach a deal without, having goods taxed with tariffs, right? So today, overall, pretty good day. Probably the reason why there's not more sell pressure on Bitcoin. So that also helps, right? So that could be one of the reasons why, actually, one of the big reasons why we are rallying upwards. The ETFs, I've been talking about it. I just hate the fact that, Wall Street is so reactive about any tariff news and selling off. You could see 8 days equaling 3.2 billion in outflow. And even yesterday, even though things slowed down, yesterday we still had $276 million worth of outflows. But you could see all that red. And this is all due to tariffs, all due to Wall Street afraid of tariffs. That's it, right? But I told you guys, we have seen periods like this before, okay? And they get very scary. They get nasty and very aggravating. But they're distractions. We will get through it. And in most cases, when these people sell and panic sell, they will buy back at a higher price. And there are a ton of people that are selling right now, okay? Wall Street included. And remember, there's a big Bitcoin conference coming up later this year. Just in a few months, actually, in Vegas. Bitcoin 2025. I'll be there. And I know a lot of you guys are still very enthusiastic about Bitcoin. So if you're interested, come join. Come listen to Sailor and others. And maybe even meet me in the process. And use my link in the description. Not themselves. Well, they did because of the details. Not only them, but ARK, Grayscale, Fidelity, they all did because massive amount of people and institutions and funds and traders, they all got scared today, again, due to the tariffs, and they're selling off. And when they sell off ETFs, those funds have to sell off Bitcoin. That's exactly what's happening. That's why you see it, So with ETFs, you got to take the bad with the good. We still have, we didn't lose all of our gains. Obviously, there's still a ton of Bitcoin in the ETFs, but when Wall Street gets panicky, this is what happens. That's what a lot of the market makers, the whales, the people that are manipulating the prices, that's what they want. They want you to sell your crypto because there's someone on the other end that's buying. It's gladly buying at these discounted prices from you, right? So this is very, very, very unfortunate. That's why a lot of times you get all these corrections and dips out of nowhere. And sometimes they make no sense. You just got to think who benefits the most. The ones that want to pick up cheap Bitcoin from you. In fact, right now, there is this. Some analysts are saying what we're going through is just one of the formations of the Wyckoff pattern, right? And again, what is the Wyckoff pattern? It's a way for big players, whales, to accumulate more. It's a way for them to drive people out, make them panic sell so that the big players could accumulate at cheap prices. I just mentioned recently, Citadel is coming into this space. Out of all the times they could be coming in, they're coming in right now, right after the hack, right when we're having one of our major corrections. Take a second to think about that. And they want to be a liquidity provider. It's not like they're coming in to be a custodian. No, they want to be a liquidity provider, which requires them to have a ton of liquidity. So, again, you got to think about the motives of some of these guys, right? Like, it's in their best interest to get you to sell so that they can buy at low prices. Citadel
Okay, that name may be familiar to some of you guys. They are looking to jump in. All right, they want to be a liquidity provider to Coinbase, Binance, Crypto.com, basically all the exchanges, all the big boys. Now, Citadel does not have a good reputation. Well, at least not with the retail investors. Reason being, a lot of you guys know about what happened with Robinhood, with GameStop, you know, with Wall Street bets, all that. It was Citadel that was behind all that, right? Citadel, Melvin Capital, and they were the ones that was shorting the hell out of GameStop. And I believe it was Citadel that was also the ones that came out recently that said that they were shorting MicroStrategy. And that was peak of MicroStrategy. When they came out and said they shorted MicroStrategy, that's when MicroStrategy started going down. I believe that was absolutely peak of MicroStrategy when they declared that they started shorting it. So I would consider this a threat. I don't think this is a good thing at all. So maybe all this is just a plan that's been engineered to just bring things down, because if they want to be a liquidity provider, guess what? They have to buy a whole bunch of crypto, and they probably don't want to be buying at top. They probably want to be buying at bottom, at low prices. So maybe this has something to do with it. Maybe this has a lot to do with what's going on. Because if they want to enter, yeah, that's no good. That's no good. Anyone that's familiar with Citadel and anything they have done before, do not like them. And do not like Ken Griffin. Crypto may be under threat.